Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing? I am, it's about, I don't have my watch on, but I'm going to pretend to look at my watch. It's about 7 o'clock. I just finished fighting a vehicle fire in my community with my volunteer department. And it didn't, we got the call at like 3:30, and I wasn't really sleeping anyways. And it was kind of funny when I got to the hall, everyone was all groggy, and you got the bags under your eyes, and I'm as fresh as a daisy because I haven't even been asleep yet. And I didn't tell anybody that, but because I didn't want to rub it in that my sleep wasn't awoken. And I think I was staying up because I don't have work today. It's now Friday. Pardon me. I said screw it. I went to Tim's, got a coffee and a farmer's wrap, and I'm just gonna stay up. I find it very difficult to fall asleep anyways, but at this point, why not? All-nighter, just totally reset the system. I've been staying up too late, anyways. But I had a couple obligations today at some awkward times, so I wouldn't have gotten a solid rest anyways. Today I've got to go look at an apartment, so that's exciting. There may be some potential there to be able to move into a place and still be on my volunteer department, which is excellent. I'm still working towards my goals, and then I'm lifting with my boy Fish, and I won't have much strength to go around, but you do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? You show up, put in some percentage of effort. If it's 80, if it's 60, if it's 40, if it's 20, who gives a damn? Just show up and just do something. And even just showing up and realizing that you can't do anything, that's doing something. At least you made an effort. At least you showed up. At least you stimulated the muscle, a little bit. And if anything, if you just did some physical activity like fighting a fire or something, at least you're still kind of greasing the joints and greasing the wheels and letting them know, we got to be in shape. All right. We don't just go all out and then shut down. We got to be able to go all out. Yeah, rest for a little bit, but then go all out again, or at least, pick things back up and continue to move forward. I don't know if anything I'm saying right now is making sense, but regardless, I had a bunch of thoughts about that call and about some of the interactions I had. I guess the biggest thing I wanted to say or drive home is that if you're looking for change in your life, like if you're not happy with your circumstances or your situation, or certain things are aggravating or whatever, change has to start with you. It reminds me of that Michael Jackson song, The Man in the Mirror. You got to change your ways. I'm not Michael Jackson, but you get my drift. He just talks about it's the man in the mirror, looking yourself in the mirror and going, all right, what am I doing or what am I not doing that is contributing to the problems in my life, or the problems in my family, or at my workplace, or at the gym, or my volunteer, or a club, or whatever. How can I make this better? And it's really just not focusing on the negative, not focusing on how bad it sucks, or how little of a budget you have, or how old the equipment's getting, or your car is breaking down, or your clothes are too small, or you could go on and on and on about the negatives. But if you can really pay attention to not just the positives, not just, oh, what's good, but what can I actually improve? What can we change here? What can I change here? And I'm starting to see some, I won't say exponential growth, but some significant improvement in my life, because I've been able to, one, get some clarity by paying attention, being more mindful of my thoughts, not drowning them out with substances or distractions, but really sitting with them and going, oh, like, what is my brain saying here right now? There's a signal, and you could just listen to that signal, or you can take a minute, go deeper, dissect a little bit, and go, okay, what is my brain actually trying to tell me with this signal? And they call that metacognition, thinking about your thinking. And if you're able to do that, you can solve a lot of your own problems in your life. And I'm at the point now where I'm mindful, I'm operating with such clarity that I'm conscious of my thoughts as they're happening, and I'm conscious of my ruts too, and I'm conscious of when I'm messing things up and when I'm not doing the right thing. And that's, that can be, I'll say, painful. There's a certain amount of tension there that you sit with and you're faced with, and you're faced with the question, am I going to act with integrity or not? i.e., am I going to do the right thing or not? And that happens on a moment-to-moment basis all the time. Am I doing the right thing or not? Am I doing the right thing or not? From moment to moment. That garbage can that is empty but starting to fill up, and no one's put a garbage bag in. Are you gonna just pile on more garbage into the can, or are you gonna dig out some of that garbage, put in a bag, and then put the garbage back in? If there's drinks in the fridge that have run out, and you got to go get some more drinks to replace them so they're cold, are you going to do that? Are you going to fill up the water filter when it runs out so that you've got more water next time? It's just always thinking ahead, thinking about the next person who's going to use the thing that you're using. And even whether you're surrounded by people or you're by yourself, you're going to be the next person to use it. So don't you want to, look after future you and take care of future you? And, future you will thank present you for doing these things. And not only that, but the people you surround yourself with in whatever organizations or teams or families you're involved in will also appreciate that. And, you grow a lot closer when people realize that you're looking out for them and you have their best interests at heart. And to some degree, yeah, we're all one, That's a spiritual truth that you realize at some point in your psychedelic journey, if you go down that route, is that what life is consciousness, and consciousness is a fraction of God, and God put consciousness in just about everything. And so we're all consciousness, we're all God, we're all one on a spiritual level. So looking out for your friend, your brother, your sister is the same as looking out for yourself, right? That's karma. That's the golden rule. Treat others as you wish to be treated. So trying to maintain that all the time and not get selfish is a task. And sometimes you fight your own thoughts, you fight your own biology, you fight your own poor habits and your own cognition. And sometimes you regress and you take steps back and you make mistakes. Of course, we're all human, and that's a part of it. You've got to accept that. That's what I'm finding challenging too, is like accepting these crappy parts of me. And I know ironically it's once I accept them that I'll be able to actually change them and improve them. But man, sometimes you're like, am I really that bad? Am I really such a piece of shit? Or, whatever. And most of the time you're not actually that bad. But to look in the mirror and go, I really got to make a change here. Like this, I got to do something here, right now. Not ahead in the future. I used to be really bad for that. Oh yeah, in the future, I'll figure it all out. In the future, I'll make those changes. Next week or next month, I'll do better. It's like, no. Right here, right now. What can I do right here, right now? Or at least start taking inventory and being mindful of when you get in these situations and you make these mistakes, be sure to make a mental note to yourself to go, okay, if this situation comes up again, or if it's something that you know is going to happen, when this situation comes up again, here's what I'm going to do differently. Because what I did last time did not work. Somebody got pissed at me, or we wasted time or money or resources or whatever. It just wasn't productive. I don't know. There's a law of polarity in life. So it's not, law of duality. I want to say you're either being productive or destructive. And you're either creating order or chaos with every decision that you make. And it's kind of like there's a binary, yes or no, but then if you look a little bit deeper, each of those binaries has binaries, and the decision tree just grows exponentially the farther you go down. So it is binary, and there is a law of duality, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. I still don't understand it fully, but I don't know, man. I'm just moving forward with mostly integrity, Of course, nobody's perfect. That's why it's always felt like a paradox. Like, how do you have integrity? How do you act with integrity? Can you say you have integrity? Do you have integrity or do you not have integrity? No, it exists on a spectrum, on a continuum. You have a certain amount of integrity if you want to quantify it, but how often do you act with integrity? Because I don't think there's anybody who acts with integrity 100% of the time. That's like you're a saint or something, We all have moments of short-sightedness or selfishness or ignorance, or, we just overlook things and make mistakes. But having a quicker turnaround on forgiving yourself, accepting that it happened, letting it go, and returning to a sense of normalcy pretty quickly, so you can get right back in the game and stay focused on your goals or the task at hand or your job or your family or whatever your priorities are. And that reset is extremely important, because 90% of our behaviors are habitual. You can get caught up in these patterns, and if you don't reset, you don't actually examine your patterns and think about them, analyze them, do a risk-benefit analysis, then you won't grow. At least you won't grow as much as you should or would like to. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So do you want to die or you want to grow? So get with the program, Again, it's binary, but across time as well. That's the other factor. So not only do you got to choose yes or no, and it's very easy, to make the choice yes, but then can you make the choice yes again and again and again and again and again and again, and stringing along those good decisions over the course of an hour, a day, okay, then a week, then a month. Now, you're not going to get all those right, but the more that you start dialing in, you start answering the questions with the right answer or the right thought or the right behavior, you start to create this domino effect, and you get this momentum built in your life, because you start to see the fruits of your proper or good decision making. And things just start working out for you. You start to get lucky. You start to get opportunities, and it's a really powerful thing. If you can just slowly start getting that ball rolling of good decisions, aiming high, aiming up, going for it, whatever it is, and also paying the price and making the sacrifice to do that, because there's a price to being good. There's a price to having integrity. There's a price to doing the right thing, of course. if there wasn't, everybody would do it. It'd be so easy. But reflecting and asking, is this worth it? You know? And if it is, all right, well then you're fully aware of what it's going to take, you know? It's going to take those sleepless nights. It's going to take those people not recognizing your efforts and your initiatives, or it's going to take people overlooking you or disrespecting you, or, you know, not that you have to put up with that, but, you know, when you shine your light, it's going to hurt a lot of people who are used to the darkness, you know, and they don't like that, and they're going to bounce it right back at you, you know. So to some degree, you have to be willing to pay the price. That, you know, there's a sacrifice there, and the sacrifice has to be worth it. And so you got to pick your North Star. You got to pick what you're sacrificing for, and what is worth the sacrifice. And it's very difficult to find some earthly thing to have that sacrifice be worth it. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. So I got my coffee here. I'm going to go back to my room and try to be productive, maybe journal or read or something. Make sure my day is somewhat scheduled. I only have a couple of things to do today. Make sure I'm ready for work tomorrow. And just keep planning, keep working. Things are moving, and I just got to keep the ball rolling. Keep that positive momentum. Also, yes, I've got to rest and recuperate and relax and, you know, take in the wins. But right now, it certainly feels like grind mode and grind season, and time to work, time to take some big steps in the right direction and see some change in my life. And you know what? Change can be scary, but we have faith that it's all going to work out. So anyways, I hope you liked it. If you did like it, if you got something to say, let me know in the comments. And if you're looking forward to more videos, please subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And hopefully we can connect. And because life is cool like that, man. We're on the internet and we can just like talk to each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. So anyways, much love. Appreciate you. Goodbye.